right? Or read all the books to figure out what that is. So it's really good to have ways, I think, to get off of that treadmill, right? As you said, you went to, I remember when you first telling me the story of how you went to Sri Lanka and found like you just felt like that was your place, right?
Yeah.
Just within your whole spirit, you just felt like I have found my place, right? And that's a really beautiful that you know that you didn't even know, but this was the place where now you're doing your purpose. This is you got property there now, right? And you're about to go. I was telling somebody a story, and she just bought property over there, right?
Yes, I have a lovely little piece of land on the edge of a rice paddy field.
Right. And so it's such a beautiful thing to see you, you know, living that out and living your life. And I like it because when people see other people living their lives, that gives them the courage, that gives them everything that they need to say, yes, I could do it too. And that's the beauty of, you know, living your life so that others might say they can live their life too, which I really think is great.
I feel like our lives are the way that we live our lives, the way that we be, the way that we are, is an invitation to others.
Mhm,
And I call my coaching style courageous leadership coaching for
mhm,
exactly the reasons that you just mentioned. It takes tremendous courage to ask these questions. And there's a wonderful Rainier Maria Rilke quote that I use all the time in this work, which is to live the questions. Love the questions like books written in a foreign language or locked doors, and someday you will live into the answers. So it's not this
mhm,
like, who am I? What is my purpose? It's
mhm,
the grace and ease and the joy and the freedom of living, asking the questions and have the curiosity, and then live into the answer. And for me, how I connect with purpose and is around the sense of aliveness. So helping other leaders, helping other people connect with their own sense of aliveness, that spark, that purpose, that joy, that passion. And for me, it's it's orienting to joy. So versus, oh, this is the ladder I have to climb, this is what I have to do, the to-do list, all the things, the like, the 90% of thoughts that we have on repeat. I really try to reframe to break that and or interrupt that and orient to joy. What would be more joyful? What would be more fun? How might I build this program in a way that is joyful for me? How might I show up to my work today? How might I have this conversation? And then using nature as a guide. So
mhm,
the sounds of the birds, the recognition of the vibrant green all around us, and what does it feel like when you noticed those trees when you went home? What do you feel like in your body? Like what
yeah,
opened that expansion that's felt, that wonder,
mhm,
that place of wonder that nature invites. And then the third the third piece that for me is really connected to presence, to purpose and aliveness, is presence, is being in the breath, in this moment now. And so when I'm feeling what those three things evoke,
mhm,
orienting to joy, nature as a guide, and presence, then I know in that moment I am aligned with my purpose. And I very often feel that in calls or in designing programs or leading workshops. And certainly when I'm riding my pedal bike through the rice paddy fields of Sri Lanka, that then end up being these beautiful vignette spaces for future leadership workshops or helping social entrepreneurs there gain an audience and build businesses. So by me stepping into that felt sense
mhm,
of purpose,
mhm.
that's when I know I'm in alignment.
That's beautiful. I like that. I generally I ask people what's in their spiritual toolkit, but
Mm-hmm.
you already just told me the three things,
Well,
right?
that's not my toolkit. That's just my purpose and aliveness toolkit.
Aliveness, right? That was so beautiful, right? Uh-huh. to think about those, right? And I know, you do meditation and all of that, but it was like really to think about it from the perspective that you just presented it, right?
Mm.
Being alive, what does that mean? You know, and I like. I mean, we don't use that word a lot. Aliveness, like, what does that mean, right? When you say it, it does evoke a certain amount of energy in your body to think,
Mm.
wow, just living in the joy of being alive, the aliveness, right, is really beautiful.
There's
Uh,
a poem,
Go ahead.
there's a poem by Mary Oliver called
Mhm.
When Death Comes, because you can't talk about aliveness without being equally comfortable talking about death and decay. And so there's this beautiful poem called When Death Comes. And at the end, she talks about, I don't want to die and have just visited in this lifetime. I want to have lived fully. And then she has another poem, The Summer Day, and she talks about what else should I have done with this one wild and precious life? And she's enjoying the grasshoppers and nature. And yeah, so it's really about, this is a temporary space,
Mhm.
and I get to choose what I'm doing and how I'm feeling. Much of this is up to me and my own agency, moment to moment, day to day. And so how do I want to look back on my life? And I really want to have lived alive.
That's beautiful. So where would we find you? What kind of speaking engagements have you done? And have you written a book, or what are as a writer? What kind of
Yeah.
writing?
So there's definitely a novel that exists somewhere in here, and I can't tell you how many people have told me, like, Ashley, when's your book coming out? I do a lot of long form essays, so I can be found at Ashley Davis Collective on Medium
Mhm.
for a number of written pieces on charting the uncharted, living in stillness, finding purpose, vulnerability as a superpower, all sorts of aliveness,
Mhm.
death. Um, and I do speaking for workshops or for leadership groups, for various social entrepreneur communities and nonprofits.
Mhm.
Really, and anywhere that will have me. Yeah, and then a number of workshops with those same organizations, again around conscious leadership or purpose, revealing our inner courage, connecting within, and my own events.
You also create retreats for others,
Mhm.
or these are just.
No, so I create my own retreats, and then I do day long workshops as well. So
Okay.
I have
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Day long workshops. Oh,
so
okay.
anything from a couple hours to 25 days, basically.
Yes, the long one. So, um, I saw you had something called the Ashley Davis Collective.
Yes, that's my
What is
company.
that? That's the name of your company.
So it's www.ashleydaviscollective.com is my website. So you can see more about who I am, my background, testimonials and people that I've worked with, places that I've been, retreats and workshops. And the best way to find out what I'm up to is to sign up for my newsletter, which is the right on that landing page.
Ashley Davis Collective. It's been really, really great having you here tonight, and I really appreciate what you're bringing, the joy, and the way you're presenting it, and the way you're supporting people in finding that joy and being their authentic self. And your programs are set up such that if you're looking at what your purpose is, if you're looking at all of those things, right, you're supporting people in that joy. I really love that. And people look for a how to. That's one of the things, how we come and we say, oh, find joy, have grace and ease, have all these things, right? And people just like, how, right? What does that mean? So I really appreciate the steps that you've taken and the processes that you put together to
Mhm.
support people in really finding joy and being their authentic selves. So I really thank you for that. And what would you like to share? You know, we're closing, and I'll give you the floor to share.
Mm. This feels funny to share at the end, but this is what's coming up, so I'll listen to that intuition and share it. And I think sometimes joy can be misunderstood. Like, oh, go just quit your job and fly to Sri Lanka and have fun. And I think that's really a misunderstanding of joy as a compass point, as an orientation. And what I've found in myself, and then in other leaders, and this is the part that feels funny to share in these last few minutes. Like, here's the floor, Ashley. What do you want to talk about? I want to talk about shame. That we
No,
have so much
so much.
shame connected to joy,
Mm,
self care,
mhm,
finding peace,
mhm,
creating time for reflection. Like,
mhm,
what
mhm,
gets skipped every day? It's that spiritual toolkit that gets it's those moments of presence, because the email's going off, or my team might need me, and oh gosh, what might happen if I don't show up?
mhm,
What might happen if we don't take the moment to be with ourselves?
mhm,
And in every leadership circle I have been in, I have always experienced and witnessed this shame in feeling like we don't deserve joy.
joy.
So
Mm,
I really help people to connect with the worthiness, because if you don't deserve joy, then I don't deserve joy, and no one else does. And I think, frankly, that's BS. We all deserve it. That's what we're here for.
beautiful.
So
Yeah,
unshaming joy. That's how I want to close.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. And that's a beautiful closing too, because it leaves us something to think about, which is so true. Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed having you on the show tonight, and I will definitely be in touch.
Rev G, it has been an honor and a pleasure, and it's a delight and a gift to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me tonight on Conversations with Reverend G. I'm here every Monday night at 8 p.m. live on WEMS Radio. We're live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, and Twitter. So join me every week right here with guests from all walks of life. We talk about love, we talk about life, and we talk about spirituality. You can find me every day on Facebook as Reverend Granetta Mason, and I'm on Instagram as Rev Granetta with inspirational messages to support you throughout your day. Thank you for joining me tonight, and I will see you again next week right here live. Have a wonderful, joyful week.